Hey, welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking about whether people are still coming to Tennessee from Southern California and other places like Florida and Texas. Yeah, they are. Stick with me and we'll tell you why. Californians are moving to Tennessee for a combination of factors, and it's including the lower cost of living, no state income tax, and a strong job market. Now that's true for Floridians and Texans as well, but both those states are doing really well. So a lot of Californians have moved over there too. Some experts report that over 22,000 Californians moved to Tennessee between 21 and 2022. That is an interesting statistic, and I'm telling you now that it's not just Californians. We're getting people from all over the country. We have good weather, we have interesting weather, but we have better weather than that always constantly hot or equator hot weather. So that might be something too, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Many are drawn to the state's affordability, particularly the housing and the lifestyle offered by cities like Nashville, which is experiencing rapid growth. So the appeal also extends to our state's natural beauty. We have a whole lot of gorgeous scenery in the state of Tennessee, and it changes from the Mississippi River down by Memphis all the way to the mountains and over into that North Carolina and Virginia, West Virginia borderline. So we have beautiful scenery all the way through the state. We all know our cultural scene for our music is pretty darn good in Tennessee, and that ranges from different types of music, from the blues in the Memphis area and the Delta, to obviously our country music in the capital of the state in Nashville, and our bluegrass and interesting genres going on over in the east part of the state. And frankly, we do music and we do it well, and we do it everywhere throughout this state. But just to kind of give you a little historical detail about the area and why people were drawn to it ever, and then just continuing on. Our lower housing costs. I mean, let's face it, our market has done really, really well over the last few years, but it's also still less expensive to live here than Austin, Texas, or Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, you know, and a lot of places in Florida. Now, I've got to say that especially Middle Tennessee is significantly more affordable than, say, California. So lower housing costs are definitely appealing. I've had so many clients move after selling their nice little 1,200 square foot home for, you know, $500,000 to $600,000, depending on where it was, $1 million, depending on where it was, to come over here and buy something that's 2,500 to 3,000 square feet for anywhere from $500,000 to $800,000, depending on the area. That's a general statement, but that's a true statement. So affordable, lower housing costs, very appealing to anyone moving to the Middle Tennessee area. We have no state income tax. Now, I'm licensed in 2 different states, Kentucky and Tennessee. In Kentucky, they do have a state income tax. Their property taxes are lower, but they have a state income tax, kind of a trade-off, but still better than California or other states with a state income tax. Tennessee is one of the few states without state income tax, which can lead to substantial savings for residents who move here. And frankly, I think a lot of people have really appreciated that through the years. My working with them in 21 years, people have been very, very grateful for that situation. So overall, no state income tax is a definite plus for people coming to the area, and it's why people are still flocking to the area. So when we're talking about overall expenses and things that are different from state to state, beyond the housing, the cost of groceries are less expensive, our transportation is less expensive, our gasoline costs less, and other living expenses generally lowers the overall expense that a person can spend in other states versus the state of Tennessee or even Southern Kentucky. So I've got to be honest, your overall living expenses are a lot less. Your property taxes are less. The cost of eggs, I can't even imagine paying what the eggs were out in California back when we had this expensive egg surge pricing just recently. So anyway, just kind of throwing that out there, but everything overall for your living expenses, your costs of your gas, your cost of your utilities, they're all less expensive in this area. So it's another reason why people are actually coming to the area. In spite of a slower market to a degree, and certainly by comparison to the craze that happened, a few years ago, it is absolutely still a nice steady influx of people coming to this area. When you're talking about the job market and the economy, definitely Tennessee has a thriving job market. You definitely have sectors like technology and healthcare and manufacturing that bring a lot of business into the area, and you've got to know that that has been a tremendous helper in the growth cycle for the Middle Tennessee area. Nashville, absolutely not long ago, was the #2 largest city in the state. Memphis was #1, but it's certainly far surpassed that in the last few years. So the market, the climate, the overall expenses of the Middle Tennessee area of Tennessee as a whole is so enchanting that you've got great job opportunities coming, and therefore people are still coming. Nashville is experiencing rapid growth and is considered a hub for various industries, okay? So it's not just music and entertainment. So I did just name those off a few minutes ago, but one of the reasons is because it's natural beauty. Tennessee offers diverse landscapes. We touched on that a few minutes ago. You've got the mountains, you've got the forest, you have beautiful lakes, you have outdoor enthusiast, lifestyle, enchanting situations all over the state of Tennessee. And it's absolutely beautiful. Nashville's strong music scene and vibrant culture are a major draw for a lot of people. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've known through the years who were fabulous artists, who are fabulous artists, who may or may not have made it big, and we know plenty of those, but who have come from, say, the LA scene to come try it out in the Nashville market and maybe make it. There's a lot of people on almost every corner. You will have some of the finest musicians, finest writers, finest, music industry people in Nashville and in the surrounding areas. You also have them throughout the state. So Nashville's strong for that. We definitely understand that it is not just the capital of the state, as my grandmother used to say, but it is also Country Music USA. So we know that. The state's known for its southern hospitality. It's known for its welcoming and friendly people. Definitely an inviting area. So if you're not used to that, if you are from an area that's like, hey, what are you doing speaking to me? Well, you might not like it here because we're going to say, hey, we're going to say, how are you? Hope you're doing well. People, that could be put people off a little bit, but a lot of people really do like that. There's nothing wrong with being nice. There's nothing wrong with smiling at somebody. It takes just as much energy to smile at somebody as it does to grimace at them. So I'm telling you now, if you're not ready for that southern hospitality, then you might not want to live here, but that's what we're known for. And we say hi, y'all. And we say hello. We don't all talk like this, but I can say this, definitely the warm and friendly environment is very enchanting to people from other areas, and we don't want to change that. So don't come over here with your bad attitude and think that you're going to turn Nashville into that, because we don't want to be that, okay? So, but that's another reason that people are still flocking to the area. Other factors that draw people to the Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky area is that they have family connections. So some Californians may be moving closer to family. They may have had them on the East Coast, and now that they're coming back from the West Coast, maybe Tennessee's a good landing spot for them. It's definitely a centrally located area, and it certainly works well for our military as well. We have so many people being so centrally located in the United States that may have family on the upper East Coast, down on the southeast coast. You may have them, in the middle of the country, and you certainly have a better proximity to those places quicker if you live in this Tennessee area. So definitely have that sort of information that is bringing people to Nashville and to the surrounding areas. They may have family up in Ohio and they just don't want to go home to that weather. I know we touched on weather. I know we're still going to touch on weather, but hey, our weather's still better than a lot of the other areas in the country. So that's something to think about too. when you're talking about a political climate, I'm just going to say you're in a great state of Tennessee. Tennessee is full of volunteers. You may have other colleges, but we got our name for volunteering for every war and having the most of them. So let me just assure you that you have a very large conservative group of people in the state of Tennessee. You know what? We're cool with you feeling differently than we are, but we believe in God, country, home. We believe in taking care of everything and our people too. We believe in fighting for it if we need to. And frankly, we're not interested in living where you are and living differently. So if you want to come over here and change that, you're probably not going to be as warmly welcomed, but that is who we are. So please know that ahead of time. And it is known as a little more conservative area than maybe you might want to be in, but that has brought a whole lot of people to the great state of Tennessee, and nobody's sorry for that. How does that affect your real estate? Here's the deal. Everybody's money's green. I personally don't care which way you go. I know who I am, I know my age, and I've voted in enough elections. So if we're gonna get political, I'm gonna tell you right now that I'm one of those people who's very, very secure in who I am and what I feel. But the deal is, I'm cool with you being you too. So when it comes down to your business and it comes down to where you want to live, I respect all those things. I respect all those things about you, and I want that to be great for you. So I listen to what's important and I put you where you want to be. And that's the truth about our real estate too. Nobody cares. We're not trying to be that way. Nobody's trying to change you into something else. What we're trying to be is warm, welcoming, and committed to everybody's good outcome. So, gravitating to the Tennessee area, I gotta be honest, knowing how it's a state of volunteers, knowing that people have always been very proud to protect your freedoms, and we really don't care which way you vote and who you are as far as that's concerned. We feel that you're worth protecting and fighting for. So you definitely have a little more conservative viewpoints in a lot of areas of Tennessee, and that has definitely drawn people to the area. In essence, the move to Tennessee represents a lifestyle change for many, many Californians, offering a more affordable, more relaxed environment with a strong sense of community and a very welcoming, overall feeling. So yes, a lot of people from California have continued to move to Tennessee. Okay, so this is gonna be my favorite part because I do have a friend in California. My little friend disappears for long periods at a time, and I just shout out to Houdini. But here's the deal. Our climate in Tennessee is absolutely different than that California climate. Now, I lived in Northern and Southern California. I've been back 22 years, I think. Yeah, I've been back 22 years. So I understand the difference in that climate, and I get it, that it's comfortable and warm and lovely, and you got the beach and it's hard to beat, and you've got the wineries, and you've got the mountains that are prettier than anything and breathtakingly gorgeous, and then you've got Southern Cal, and SoCal is absolutely exquisite too. So I get all of that. We're not that. I gotta admit, we're not that. And you all have earthquakes, and we've got tornadoes, and California has its own sets of problems too, man. You can't drive in those mountains sometimes in the winter. You have to have chains. You're not allowed to go up. So there are things about that. We can't have chains over here. So there's some differences that we have in real climate situations. But my friend and I were just talking. He said, I don't know that I can move over there because you've got big bugs and that humidity, and it's just deathly hot, and then you flood out in the spring, and then you have tornadoes too, and you don't just have those in the spring, you have them in the fall, and good Lord, the winter and the ice. So I started laughing, and I thought, well, you're right. When you put it that way, it just sounds horrible. What we don't have is extended periods of time with that. We have very quick seasonal situations. We definitely have our summer storms. When all that weather comes together and that cool weather comes down and collides with some of that warm weather that we have coming up, it will definitely create some storm situations, and those can be really awful. We don't have them long. We're used to them. I would take a tornado any day over a giant earthquake all the time. I would. but I grew up in the area, so I definitely understand your fears, and I don't recommend you go out and play in the tornado. But we have some things that are maybe not as enchanting to the Californian and can be very, very scary for anybody, because realistically, weather and acts of God, no one can control it. Unless they're seating, I guess, but no one can really control that, and all we can do is find you the right house in the right place that makes you feel comfortable, and I'm ready to do that, and it doesn't always have to have a basement. So I want you to know that people are still flocking to our area because we don't have weather extremes for great periods of time, and I think that's an important thing to keep in mind. So we definitely have some uncomfortable situations. That hot humidity is subtropical, and it just can, we don't recommend you spend a lot of time outside when you're in that situation, but you can also have that arid temperature that can, make your roads buckle out in the California, Texas, that out west, Vegas, Nevada thing. You can definitely get really, really hot and really, really cool because of the arid temperatures in that desert feel. And then, so I don't know which one's worse, frankly. They're both pretty intense. And then, we definitely have our winters in the Tennessee area. They're a lot more mild than anything that you're dealing with up north. We're getting some pretty snow, and it doesn't stay around for 200 years, and it's gorgeous. And then, of course, we get ice. Ice is absolutely dangerous no matter where you are, whomever you are. Nobody really needs to drive on the ice. It's tough. So, but we do get that kind of in that February time frame. So, and then as far as flooding, we're river intensive, we're water intensive. We have dams to open up and alleviate for some of that. We have had that 500-year flood that happened in 2010. Devastating weather situation, but we've tried to manage through that. We've got a Corps of Engineers that's helping with that, and from Southern Kentucky all the way through this state, we have had river and Corps of Engineers dealing with those things. We're trying to alleviate flood issues, and weather is weather. So we do have it too, right here in the middle of the United States, in the Tennessee and Southern Kentucky areas. But people are still coming here, and they love this area. Californians are moving to Tennessee for a combination of reasons, primarily related to the cost of living, lifestyle, and political climate. Tennessee's lower cost of housing and lack of state income tax make it more affordable than California. It makes it more affordable than a lot of places, especially out west or up north. And specifically, many are drawn to Tennessee's lower cost of housing and the lack of state income tax. And it definitely makes it more affordable. And, when you spend less but have more and can go out and play more, then you really like where you are. So definitely something to think about. If you're seeking some different situations for your lower cost of living, we need to get on and talk to one of my lenders. We definitely need to talk to someone and find out what is comfortable for you based upon your personal needs. When you call me, it's a no pressure call. I mean, of course I want your business. I'm Felicia Long, I'm with EXP, I'm a realtor, I have been for 2 decades. Here's the deal. I don't want you to feel pressured into working with me. I want you to want to work with me, and I want to be excited about the things that are going to happen in your family's needs in life. And let me see what I can put together to make that right for you. You might need to spend a few months out here. You might need to come out and make a decision quickly if you're military. And I've done a lot of military loans, and I have a lot of clients who are in the military. I love my heroes. They're making decisions pretty quickly based upon what their needs are. If they're active duty, they definitely have some different time constraints than, say, a retired military vet or someone who is just eligible to use his or her VA eligibility. So there are things there that we want to talk about, and there are things that are only tailored to you that we can't put on a video. So definitely call me, text me, leave me a message. I get spam just like you do. And we'll get in touch and set up a Zoom call, because really, honestly, until we talk about the things that are important to you, where you're from, why you're leaving, what's bringing you to the area, then we don't know where we're going to put you. We can't talk in detail about what the housing market is more than just generalities, because there are so many different areas of the Nashville market and Southern Kentucky to cover that you just really can't get all that in a video. So let's get on a call, no pressure, let's talk about you, and let's look at what we can do together to see if we've got the right place in the 2 states in which I'm licensed. definitely have a lot of real estate choices out there. Hopefully I will fit your bill. I would love to work with you, and let me tell you that I'll work on your time frame. So I really do appreciate your listening and subscribing to the channel. Definitely give me a call and let's talk about you. And as always, we'll see you next week.